Alright everybody, welcome to the stream RTS Fest for 2025. For this occasion I thought we'll compile a list of videos. It's going to be one playlist of videos where we try out games that are either in early access, not even in early access, or have been released already, but they have a nice big discount, because that's what the RTS Fest is about, big discounts and amazing demos. The first game we're going to be trying out, or actually taking a look at, is the Scouring, the demo version of it. There's no early access or anything about this game that I found, not even a planned release date, which is surprising to me at least, because the game is actually super fleshed out, considering the fact that it's in an unknown stage, for me at least. It's a very polished game, definitely a very promising game for the future, aiming to bring back classic RTS games, and it was extremely heavily inspired by Warcraft, as you'll see in just a minute. So let's jump into single player and take a look at it. The format is going to be the same for all these videos. I'd like to explain the game as we go, as I do with most of the games when I do the first video of them. So first things first, we can change our map if we want to. There are 4 maps available, each with different player counts. I'm just going to go with the default one, which is first encounter. It allows up to 3 players. I'm just going to disable one of the AI opponents. Could have, of course, gone with the 2-player option as well. As for races, you have 2, as in Warcraft. I'm going to be saying as in Warcraft a lot during this video, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to start with humans, and if you guys want to see more of the Scouring, then do let me know in the comments section, and we'll play another round with the orcs. But I want to try this out first, or play this first. And you can also enable AI assistant. I don't think you need to, because the game actually starts out by throwing a ton of tips in your face, as you will see in just a second. So I just jump into the game actually, and I'll show you what I mean. So this is like a bunch of tips you can scroll through, and you can essentially find most useful mechanics about the game through these tips. So that's actually very helpful. Okay, so welcome to the Scouring demo version. Like I said, classic RTS game, classic Warcraft-like RTS game. You have 2 primary resources, gold and lumber. You get gold by mining gold veins, and you get lumber by cutting down trees. I know that was extremely surprising to all of you. And there's also a 3rd resource, which I guess it took a couple of minutes to get used to, which is food. So the game doesn't have population in the classic sense of population, you know, where you would put down houses or something along those lines and just increase your population limit, and then each of your units will take up some form of that population, maybe 1 or 2, depending on how good the unit is. This game features food as a primary way of continuing your population. Now there are 2 rows for the food. You can see it in the top right hand side of the screen. The first row, the number on the right in the first row, indicates the maximum amount of food you can have, which is 200, and the number on the left is the stockpiled amount of food that you have right now. Below that is a row that will either be green or red, depending on what I'm about to explain. So the number on the right in the lower row is the amount of food that all of your units consume. So currently it's minus 100, because I just built another worker, or peasant as they're called for the humans, and each peasant consumes 10 food. But we're also producing 120 food, which is the number on the left, because I have put down a farm. Farms can be farmed with up to 3 peasants. The first peasant will generate 60 food, and then the subsequent ones will generate 30 more. So a total farm, a fully worked on farm, I should say, produces 120 food, and that's our 120 food income. Point is, if that sounded confusing, is you want to be in the green all the time, because if you're in the red, then that means your stockpiled amount of food will gradually decline. Now what will happen if you go into the negatives, which you can? Well, then your units will start starving. Starving units will be slower in general, and also gradually lose health. So that's going to be super bad, right? Because then all of your peasants, for example, will start losing health, depending on how much in the negatives you are. Now we are currently in the negatives. As you can see, it's red, because we are consuming 130 food, but we're only making 120. So that's not that big of a difference, but it is going to gradually decline and go in the negatives. And now that I've created our first Swordsman, which is a primary military unit, now we're at negative 148. Okay, so I think that's enough of food. I think you guys get the idea. But the point is that there's no actual population limit, which is kind of interesting, because that means you can, in theory, go up to however many units you would like. Which is interesting. I got up to a very big amount of units in one of the test plays I have made, and I gotta say, the reason I said earlier that it surprises me that this game is officially not in any stage. Like, I mean, I couldn't find any information about them, whether it's in, you know, early access, alpha, beta, what is this considered as officially. It's very well fleshed out, especially performance-wise and also gameplay-wise. As you can see, the pathfinding is good, which is my primary focus when it comes to these games, is how good is the pathfinding, how snappy it feels to control the units, and all of those are honestly pretty good. So that's why I would love to know what stage this game is actually in, because in my opinion it's in a pretty good stage. Okay, so you might be wondering whether your monitor enabled some blue light filters or something. No, the game does feature a day and night cycle. At night, neutral creatures will start attacking you from all different sides. So we're gonna have some coming from over here, and we're gonna have some coming from over here and from up top, and even from the left and the right and all those damn places. So you gotta defend your base at night. Now this can get a little bit hectic, I'm gonna be honest, because they're gonna throw a lot of things at you, including undead creatures, wolves, and then of course your opponent who we are playing against. So yeah, you definitely want to be defending at night. It's quite a risk to move out at night, excuse me, and just go raiding, for example, or start to expand or whatever, because there's going to be a lot of units coming at your way, as you will see in a minute. Oh, there's the first undead. Okay, they're not too strong. The only problem is they're going to come in a larger quantity. So one unit can probably take out a few nightmares. Well, that's another series, guys. A few undead, but you know, they will start swarming you, as you will see in very soon. Okay, so right now I'm just gathering these resources, and you might be wondering, why the hell am I always going to the town hall with my military units? Well, the reason is there's another mechanic, which is the potion mechanic. If you take a military unit and he can actually get through all of your peasants, then if you move them to what's called a main building, for example, a town hall is a main building, then it's difficult to show, but essentially the little square that's around it will turn into a square with like 4 more emphasized corners, and that means you are in range of your main building and you can buy potions. Now potions will automatically pop once the unit is at low health, as the tooltip even shows us, plus you can manually pop it by hitting Q. Now they do it in a very good way, in the sense that they do actually pop it at the last second, so very efficient. You don't have to do it manually. The only time I find myself popping these potions manually is when I wanted to heal units who were just chilling at the main base, and normally they wouldn't. So like this guy's, well, one of the guys doesn't have any potions, so I'm just gonna run him back, grab a couple of potions. Hotkey for that is C, so you can just move close to the building, watch out for that indicator that you are close to it, and you can just spam C. Now each potion costs around 80 gold. Unfortunately, the game doesn't tell you how much it costs by the looks of it, but it's around 80. If you look at my gold counter, it will lose about 80. Now this is the case that I could just heal up these units if I wanted to by hitting Q, and this guy and this guy will just drink a potion and they are healed. Now this means that fundamentally the defending side is always going to be in a huge advantage, right? Because you are the one that can run back to your main base, and it doesn't have to be just this one building. I just mean main building, so you can build a ton of town halls all over the place, especially when you're expanding to another resource location. So you're going to have multiple of these buildings, and every one of those buildings will provide potions for your units. But defense-wise, that is actually a big plus, because you can just, you know, chill around your base and spam buy potion, if you have the goal to do so, of course. But if you do have the goal to do so, then the attacking side is going to be in a really difficult position. Okay, so like these guys, and you can also see the potions next on their portraits down here. I have 4 of these guys selected, and 3 of them have 1 potion, and 1 of them has 2 potions. You can have a total of 2 potions for each unit. So as you can see, neither of them popped the potion because they didn't feel like they were low on health as much that they needed a potion. Now that was the first night. Wasn't as bad as I initially explained it to be, but the only reason is because we had a ton of units. Okay, so now I'm just gonna focus on getting some more lumber, and I'm also gonna put down our sawmill. Now, a sawmill will allow us to build archers, because currently we're only rocking these swordsmen, which are the most basic unit you can get. Now, also, you might be wondering, is some of these units have this weird symbol above them. What's that all about? Well, units can gain experience by fighting, and by gaining experience they can level up. So, for example, some of these swordsmen, you can see the level above their portrait is level 3. So this is level 3 swordsman, and there's also a visual indicator. They look more beefy and badass armor. They have more badass armor than the level 1 swordsman, for example, just to give you guys a comparison. I don't think there's a difference between the level 1 and level 2 swordsmen, just looking at them. Or I might be blind, but I think these guys are like... Maybe this guy has a better set of gloves or greaves, maybe. Yeah, so there is some visual indication. Hard to tell, honestly. You can definitely see the ones that are level 3 because they're going to have some beefy armor and just better looking, all things considered. Okay, so that's why you want to keep them alive, not just because of the fact that it's easier to buy potions for 80 gold than to buy a swordsman, for example, for 100 gold, and then archers for 80 gold and 40 wood. Badass music about to kick in. Let you guys listen to this for a second because I'm losing my voice, and then we'll come back and discuss more of this game.
Job's done.
Okay, so we're just building up right now. Now we can of course head out and check out the other locations on the map. Now on the map you can see two very obvious things, which are these yellow things that I'm currently focused around, and then these areas that has a flag. Now the ones that are flags are actually neutral outposts that you can take over, which is going to lead us into a very interesting mechanic of how building combat actually works, because the game does feature a special way of fighting on top of buildings, to be more precise. So essentially buildings that have a roof section can be mounted by units, so you can just send units on top of those buildings. For example, the basic barracks is one of them. I could just send a swordsman up there, and now he's up there chilling on top of the barracks. You can of course set archers on top of that as well, which makes a ton of sense. But you might be wondering, why would you put swordsmen, so melee units, on top of buildings? The reason is, for example, here these neutral creatures actually went on top of this outpost. Now how would you assault this? Not in the classic way of hitting it with swords, but actually right-clicking on them, and then your units will start setting up some ladders and going up one by one and fighting on top of the roof, which is an interesting new mechanic for RTS games, in my opinion. And whichever side wins will take control of this neutral outpost, and this bar will start gradually filling up with your color, indicating that you are capturing the outpost. Now the outpost it's essentially a free guard tower. It's a little bit more beefy than a guard tower, and also it's, for free. You just need to capture it. Okay. These guys are chopping wood, that's good, and as you can see in our food indicator, we're once again running out of food. Built a ton of units. Some of these guys don't have potions, so I'm just gonna run back to the main base or town hall. And of course this potion system applies for the upgraded versions of the town hall, because that's how you get access to better units. Well, one better unit to be more precise, the Cavalier, which is a cavalry unit. The fourth unit that you can build is actually the cannons from the Smithy, which I'm going to put down if I find the place to do so, because as you might also see, the game has huge buildings. I mean, honestly, these are some really huge damn buildings. And sometimes it's super difficult to actually put down, just find a place for a very simple building. For example, this one. This is still not enough. Right? Okay, now we're getting attacked by the AI, our opponent. Let's just see if we can hold them back. Now, of course, we now have a town hall over here next to the gold mine because I expanded in terms of resources, and I can now just spam potions as much as I want. And these guys will just simply refill their health when they're low. So you can see golds are being consumed because I'm buying potions all the time, and they're consuming the potions and essentially staying alive all the time. So this is what I meant. If you have a ton of gold, then you're going to be in a very good position to defend. Okay, and if you happen to run out of potions, then just buy more potions. That's really the situation. Okay, now we are starving. We are now into the negatives in terms of health or in terms of food, and that means some of these guys will slow down in their work and also gradually start losing health, which is not good. So I'm going to put down a few farms, and now we're in the positive, so we are regaining our food stockpile. Now it's in the positive, sometimes it's in the negatives. Grab all these potions and start attacking, start fighting back. Now they're kind of ambitious attacking us during nighttime because they also need to defend at night, but that's okay. So we are so this is kind of like an endless potion fest, if I do say so myself. It's interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to work out between like two good players in multiplayer. That's something I'm really looking forward to. Is it going to be like an endless popping of potions all the time? Not entirely sure. Could be. Could very well be. Oh, now these guys are super exposed out here. Now we probably have a space for a smithy, but now we don't have the resources for a smithy. Now we have both. Okay, let's put this down so that we can grab some cannons, because cannons are actually super effective against large groups of enemies. And now I'm just microing. A good thing is all of these guys are now gaining experience, so that means most of these, if not all of them, are level 3. Well, actually not all that much. Okay. Okay, grab some potion, guys. Okay, and then the night has come, so that means there are nightmares all over the place. Well, nightmares, yeah. Zombies and undead. And we are still fighting over here. Only thing we gotta focus on is to have potions for our dudes, and then we're gonna be in a good position. As you can see, I'm just gonna leave those guys up there to defend from the north. And we're gonna have to move some guys to defend the gold miners. Might bring a few more. Okay, these were all the idle workers. Good. Probably start spamming out some more units just so we can regain some of our momentum in terms of quantity. Okay, good. That's dead. I don't know where you are going, but you're going to go and mine some gold for us. Okay, now the Smithy also has an upgrade called Shields, which allows you to raise your shields. Your swordsman can raise shields, and thus reducing their movement speed, but being almost invulnerable to arrows, because they will just put up their shields when they're being shot at by archers. And overall, that's a pretty good defense. Okay, now you guys probably don't have potions, right? Because you're running low on health. Yep, now we got a ton of potions and they immediately popped it. So the good news is, which I'm very happy to see also, is that the auto popping of potions is actually super polished. So they do pop it at the last time. I haven't seen a single situation where they wouldn't pop the potion, which is good, because that's the last thing you want, is relying on auto popping abilities and then they won't actually happen. Okay, I'm pretty sure we can afford a few more barracks. A few more insanely large barracks. Actually, the size of buildings kind of remind me of... Actually, I wanted to grab the shields first. Kind of reminded me of Spellforce 3, if you guys played that game. Because that's where we had... That's where the game had, like, humongous buildings. Actually, insanely large buildings. Okay, so here's another swarm. So once again, the reason you would want melee units on top of buildings is because if the enemy starts climbing up, then you want to defend. And only melee units can climb buildings. That's very important. Your archers can only get into buildings that have been cleared out. Oops, those are farms.
Our forces are under attack.
Are they? I don't believe you. Okay, research complete. Now we can pop the shields for our swordsman. And the way you do that is you click this. You either click D or you click this button. Gives unit a high chance to deflect incoming ranged attack, but reduces movement speed. And now this guy has his shield out. And you can toggle the shield. Now, especially when you're fighting, you kind of want this to be turned on. And especially if the enemy has archers. Okay, we're getting attacked a little bit. Kind of want a barracks over here as well, don't I? Yeah. Okay, and of course, keep on top of your potion game. Because then, essentially, these guys can't do shit. I'm just gonna buy a ton of potions. Kind of maxed out on potions right now. So yeah, gonna be interesting to see this. Definitely in the late game of a professional play or something. Like, what will this actually turn out to be? Because I still can't really imagine. Because, okay, this is AI. It's gonna commit to... The AI is actually pretty good, honestly. Like, they're not gonna commit to stupid fights all the time, which is good.
Our forces are under attack.
I'm gonna upgrade the keep. I'm gonna upgrade the town hall to a fort, to be more precise. And that will allow us to build some better units. As I've mentioned, there's only like these units available. So swordsmen, archers, and then the cavalier, and then cannons. So all the units you can get. I'm hoping in the full release or in later stages of the game we'll have more units in general. Like, you know, caster units, more magical units, so like Warcraft units. If I'm always making the comparison to Warcraft. That is something that I would definitely like to see. The reason my voice is shaking sometimes because it's actually kind of intense and fast-paced. So you gotta focus on a lot of things while trying to explain the game. So apologies for that. Okay, good shit. So what I had done is... Actually, I haven't clicked the button. So here you have the town hall, and you can upgrade it to a fort, which will give you one more building at this current stage, which is going to be the stable that will allow you to build cavaliers, and then you can go one more tier higher to the castle, and that will allow you to build a church, and that will give your cavaliers the ability to heal your units. So also, I'm going to say it again, it's very similar to Warcraft, but that's okay. I mean, I don't mind, you know, a game getting inspired by a game that's actually very good. Okay, now you guys don't seem to be doing anything useful, so how about you go over here, grab a ton of potions, and then head over here. More gold is required, okay. I'm pretty sure most of our farms is not actually manned fully, causing us to lose food. Like, for example, this one could use one more peasant, this one as well. And then, oh, there's a ton of potential down here as well. Okay, now I put a cannon up top. Over there.
Upgrade complete.
And this is when they start climbing up. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're going to lose this round, by the way. Just want to point that out. Because I'm not doing too good in general. We'll see.
More gold is required. More gold is required.
What we could do actually is just try to move out to their town hall that they put up next to us. These guys are chill, okay.
Our forces are under attack. More gold.
Okay, let's just put up our shields.
More gold. More gold is required.
Let's just deny that mining operation over there. Okay.
Our forces are under attack. More gold is required.
How are we doing on potions? Kind of bad. Could attack this area actually. Okay, let's put down a stable somewhere. Oh, the only pixel where we can fit it, it's over there. Okay, so the stable is gonna go up, and we can build some better units. Second cannon, maybe. Actually, why not just move over here with all these cannons?
Our forces are under attack.
Okay, let's take out those buildings. So the buildings that cannot be entered up top will actually be taken out by hitting it with swords. But the buildings that you can enter, once you take over the roof of it, they will start bringing down the building itself. So that's pretty nice. Now there is now the good thing is, which is a little bit different from Warcraft, because in Warcraft, you know, you wouldn't necessarily need to upgrade multiple town halls to the next level. But in this game, it actually makes sense to do so, because that way you gain access to a roof for this building as well. So for example, I can just put down a few cannons on top of that building. Okay, let's just get all of these guys who are not working. This is a smithy. That's not what I want. I want a sawmill over here, but I'm not going to put down a sawmill over there because I don't have the space to do so. Okay. Okay, now zombies are coming out. So that means we kind of want to split our forces up and defend from all sides. For example, over here, I'm going to put a few cannons in that outpost because that will deny them a bunch. And keep on top of our potion count. This is being attacked like crazy, although I'm not seeing anyone attacking. Whatever.
More gold is required.
Really, more gold for that shit? Excuse me.
Our forces
But that's
are
okay.
under attack.
Okay, let's grab a few footmen or swordsmen. Okay, we cannot. We can fit a cannon over here. The AI probably retreated because they were also harassed by undead. Okay, yeah, out there is kind of a bad situation to be in, guys. Just come over here. Okay, what's up over here? Pretty well defended. Now this is our only gold mine at the moment, so that is why I'm gonna move a ton of units over there, ton of workers. So there's a cannon. It like lobs a big volley of badness. Okay. So this is your horse unit. They can also grab potions, which I forgot to do. So just run back here, grab some potions, and this is going to be their cure ability. Heals target unit other than yourself. The more mana you have, the more health would be restored.
Our forces are under attack.
I think that was also the same in Warcraft, wasn't it? The more mana, the... What was it? Templar or Knight or... Ooh, I forgot what the name of it was. But I think it was also similar. The more mana it had, the more health it actually restored. Okay, cannon just destroyed them.
Our town is under siege.
I wouldn't call that a siege. Okay, I mean, we could upgrade this. It's not that big of a deal. And then I want to move and expand even further. Can we put down a sawmill or somewhere over here? No, we cannot. That is okay. Okay, and this is what I meant by big swarm. Like sometimes they will just come at you with all that. Kind of want a primary army. Something that resembles a primary army. I can just move freely, so I just grabbed a bunch of potions. As you can see, all of our guys have 2 potions each, which is good.
Our forces are under attack.
Okay, everything is being cleared out. Perfect. Grab a few. I'm gonna grab this upgrade, which I actually haven't grabbed. Artillery, or allows your cannons to use artillery ability. Okay, I'm gonna grab that. This is gonna be a smithy. And this is going to be another barracks.
Upgrade complete.
Okay, and now we have a castle, which has more area up top, so you can put even more units on top of there if you want to. Okay, let's just grab a few more cavaliers. And because we have castle attack, that means we can actually grab a church. And that will allow us to research that. Computer have surrendered. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what happened. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I have two theories. One, when they were attacking us during the night, the zombies actually took them out. That's theory number one. And theory number two, we just simply turtled them to death in terms of economy, and they just don't have anything else to build units with. I'm not entirely sure what happened. This wasn't the plan. Initially, I wanted to go ahead and attack them head on, but I guess this works as well. Anyways, that's beyond the point. This is just versus AI. It doesn't really matter. Let's just actually see. Yeah, I mean, gold-wise, we were kind of equal. Lumber-wise, oh, we had a ton more lumber actually. Units trained, units killed, units lost. Yeah, so we were kind of, yeah, we were very effective with our units. We all lost 42 and they lost 122. It's also not too much, by the way. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, they didn't kill all that many neutrals. Yeah, I have no idea, honestly, but like I said, it doesn't matter. What I think about this game is it's definitely a promising game. So it's a promising comeback to classic RTS games. This potion mechanic, I'm not entirely convinced that that's going to be a good play in the future. We'll have to see where it goes. And like I said, what I'm even more interested in seeing is what will happen in professional play when two very good players go against each other and they just, what do? They just spam potions all the time, because that could even end up to very long games. I mean, this was 30 minutes and this was against the AI. Can't even imagine what this would be against a real player. As for unit variety, so like I said, we have these three main units plus the cannon. Same goes for the orcs. Orcs have warriors instead of swordsmen, goblin archers instead of archers, and munchers instead of cavalry. And they also have cannons. I would really love to see like higher tier units, also like in Warcraft, like, you know, caster units and dragons and all that stuff, or whatever it may be. Hopefully they were going to add all that in. Hopefully they're going to, because that would spice up things. And also what I'm kind of missing are just in general upgrades, right? Like armor upgrades, weapon upgrades, shield upgrades, beside the actual shield that we had. So that would be nice to see, in my opinion. But like I said, I don't even know what stage this is in, but it is a fun game to play, and this demo is completely free to download. I forgot to mention I'm going to put the link to the Steam store page in the video description, so do check it out if you're interested in it, and just give it a few rounds of play, see what you think. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to be back with a few more games on this playlist for the Steam Strategy Fest of 2025.